Meteorologist Jason Nappy tracking a weak La Nina taking shape and continuing into February. Warmer to the east, drier to the southeast, wetter in the Ohio Valley, colder upper Midwest, drier in the Four Corners, and wetter in the Pacific Northwest. It also can get snowy Pacific Northwest, especially if that variable polar jet stream starts to dive just a bit. Let's take a look and focus on the east here, what's going to be happening. Here's this big ridge developing. This is February 6th. Big ridge developing, so I said it'd be warmer. Right there it is, typically on the warmer side. We've got a big trough building off to the west here. So that's going to be snow Pacific Northwest out towards the Cascades. And then here we go. Put this map into motion here. So we get this spring preview, and then the jet stream takes a dip central portion of the country February 11th here. So as the weather highway is starting to go down. Heights go down means temperatures coming down. Look at this temperature spike though, the spring preview. This is the U.S. map for Friday, February 7th here. So watch here. Temperature spike 70s and 80s, 50s in Maine. And then the jet stream takes a little bit of a dip, a little bit. I showed you that. So February 10th, we cool down again. But generally and typically, one thing to focus on with a typical La Nina is the precip here. So you're looking for something like a drought happening in places like Florida and the southeast. Up towards the northeast, the Ohio Valley, you've got that precipitation above average. So this was issued on January 24th. What's today? The 30th, the 31st, right? So we're looking at things here about a week or two out. This is weeks 3 to 4 precipitation outlook. And in a typical La Nina, you're lacking in the precip department. You don't have that subtropical jet stream. So put the map into motion. This is Friday, January 31st. And then there's that very weak front coming through. It gets squashed by high pressure. There's not a lot of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And then we cool down for the weekend. And then the next little precip batch comes through. This is Sunday and Monday here. You've got mostly a zonal flow in the weather highway. You don't have a lot of kinks here in the weather highway. So no big storms to kind of peel off. And there's no real big blocking going on. But watch how things change here as we go into February 4th, 5th. Look at how dry it is to the south here. You don't have a lot of precip. You've got any precip is up in the northeast, the Ohio Valley, and then we get into a little precip in the south February 9th here. But overall, you don't have the subtropical jet stream here. So you're not getting a lot of moisture. There's really no big storms going on. So with a weak La Nina, you're not getting the blockbuster storms in winter that you would typically see in an El Nino. So here's a look right now at the forecast in Maine. I want to go ahead and show you this. This takes a look at things for the storm coming up on Friday. So all my Maine viewers will appreciate this. This is the storm coming through Friday. You've got a system coming through with a little bit of overrunning moisture. This is Friday morning before you wake up here. Some moisture goes into that cold air. Some light snow breaking out down east, up and also in northern Maine. We got a lull, and then here comes the bigger batch of moisture. It's not a lot, but we get this to come through. This is Friday, really late afternoon into Friday night. Just enough cold air for it to be rain over to snow, especially a place like York County. We're seeing that mixing going on. So this is happening Friday night while you're sleeping to Saturday morning, and then it's over and it's gone. So here's a look at the forecast now. Broaden things out to the northeast and show you that a batch of moisture coming through. This is on Friday that comes through. And then to the south, you've got that bigger slug of moisture, a little bit coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, but not a lot of moisture that passes through. And then on Sunday night after midnight, so this is going to be around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you get a batch of moisture, mostly snow, but then it takes over and changes over to rain. That storm goes north, so it's going to pull up a southwesterly breeze and warm things up on Monday. The temperatures Monday are going to spike briefly, then will cool down. The next system, I talked about February 6th time frame. So here's a look at this one. This one comes through February 6th, right? And this one is ice in the mountains at this time, but there's enough cold air trapped here up against the mountains. But mostly it warms up because I showed you that big warm up there on the La Nina pattern. So we warm up briefly, and then we're going to cool down, and we'll see if we'll get cold enough for snow in New York City around February 9th. But right now, that is several days away. Here's a look at nappycast.com. Here's where you can put your location, make sure it is enabled on nappycast.com. I make this snowfall map from scratch by hand. This is for the storm that's coming through for basically after midnight. So from 10 o'clock Thursday, we'll call it after midnight just to be on the safe side, 10 o'clock Thursday night, over, especially in New Hampshire. And then it continues into Maine. So I have generally a dusting to an inch and a 1 to 3 inch stripe here from Rumford, Bangor, Calais down to Eastport, Machias, and a little mixing going on for the southern coast. Then you've got your 10-day forecast, the only 10-day forecast for Maine. It's on nappycast.com. Go ahead, check it out. And the mountains, I break it all down for the Mariners too. And then you see your forecast here for the Mariners that goes out for today and tomorrow. Plus, I have a blog that I'll put up in just a few minutes. It'll be up for jasonnappyweather.com, talking about the clipper we just had, the earthquake we just had, and the more winter storms coming over the next 10 days in Maine. Thank you for watching Jason Nappy Weather and nappycast.com. I will talk to you next time.